Are you struggling to see the results from your practice or the progress in your soccer ability? Well, if you are, in today's video, I'm going to give you a very simple but powerful tool that's going to help you track your results and guarantees to make sure that you see your progress as it's happening. So when it comes to our progress as footballers, sometimes it's very hard to see tangible results or to see things that show obvious improvements in our game. Now, this is for many reasons. Sometimes you'll be at such a high level that, the little victories that you have or the little results that you're getting are very hard to calculate, and because of it, it sometimes can seem like you're not actually improving at all. Now, it's really important that you realize when you're improving and when you're not, because when you're not improving, obviously something needs to be adjusted. Either you need to change something about your training, maybe you're either training not enough or you're focusing on the wrong thing. Either way, you need to know, is this improving me? Is this not improving me? What's working and what's not? And I think one of the biggest frustrations for players is they'll do a certain drill or do a certain challenge. And I've had players who are doing challenges like the dribbling challenge and who have done the ball control challenge who have told me this has been a problem, is that they can't see the obvious results or they don't have a way of tracking it. So in this video, I'm going to give you such a simple yet powerful thing that you can do on a weekly basis that's going to help you check in and make sure you're making progress. It's going to allow you to question the drills that you're doing, the practices that you're doing, and allow you to answer, is this working for me? Is this not working for me? How much is this improving me? Could something else improve me more? You see, when it comes to your growth or improvement in any area, even outside of soccer, you need to have this check-in period with yourself to actually reflect and see if what you're doing is benefiting you. Because you can go on and do something for a month or 2 months or 3 months passively without checking in, thinking it's doing something for you, or thinking that just because you're practicing in some way that you're getting amazingly better. Now, obviously, practicing in some way is better than practicing in no ways. But there are definitely ways to make sure that you're fine-tuning your training to a point where you're getting the most benefits out of it. So what we're going to do on a weekly basis, once a week, is we're going to have what's called a reflection routine. Now, this is such a simple practice, but once again, I said it's incredibly powerful. This is something that the most successful people on earth use on a weekly basis in order to make sure that they're on track. The most famous and best athletes also do this. They need to check in with themselves. Some people do it more than once a week, but you need to be able to check in with yourself and ask yourself questions like, are the drills I'm doing benefiting me? How are they benefiting me? What improvements have I seen? What deficiencies have I seen that I should address? Things like this. And I'm going to show you exactly what kind of questions you need to be asking yourself every single week. And then once you have the answers to these questions, you can adjust your drills and schedules and everything else that you need to adjust in order to have an even better week. Then you check in again on, for me, it's Sunday, and you go, okay, so I changed it up this week. How did it go? Did this work? Did this work? Did this not work? Did this not work? What should I leave in here? What should I continue to do because it's working? And what should I replace because it's not working? Essentially, you will be continually experimenting until you have something that is benefiting you so much that you only need to make minor tweaks. But like always happens, you are going to change as a player over time. So there may be certain drills that work for you now that help you improve to a certain point, but then you get to a certain level and those drills no longer benefit you. Then that's why you need this reflection routine. You go, okay, I think I've done as much as I can with this drill. I've already improved as much as I can in it. What's the next challenge? What is the next drill that's going to get me even better? So I'm going to show you exactly what kind of questions you need to be writing. I suggest you keep a journal or some kind of thing where you can write these down on a weekly basis. You can do it as a handwritten thing in a journal, or you can do what I do and write it on Evernote or in a Word document, but that's completely up to you. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, just choose the one that you're more comfortable with. Anyway, let's go over to the whiteboard and I'll show you what kind of questions to ask and how to kind of answer these questions as well. Okay guys, so like I said, you need to pick a day and a time that you're going to do this routine once a week. I personally do Sunday, but you can do Monday, Saturday, you can do Wednesday if you want. This doesn't really matter. I usually like to choose Sunday because it's like the end of the week, which allows me to then schedule the week ahead of me based on what I do. So pick a day and a time you're going to do this. Now, this routine doesn't need to take that long. It can take like 30 minutes. But it's very important that you do this. You might be thinking, I don't have 30 minutes to do this, but you really need 30 minutes. You need to make sure you're doing this. You can't afford to really not do this, because just by taking 30 minutes once a week to do this, you will start seeing improvements. You will start being able to fine-tune your practice. You'll start seeing progress. And really, if you do want to guarantee that you make progress in soccer like this video suggests, this is something you need to be doing. This is something that high-level people do. And if you want to be a high-level player or simply a better player, then you need to be doing this. So here are some of the questions that I want you to ask yourself every time you do this. Now, you can come up with your own questions, but the point of the questions that we're going to ask are so that you get some more insight into what's happening. That's the point of these questions. We're asking the why questions so that you can kind of dive deep into why some things are working, why some things are not, so that you're aware of what's working and what isn't. That's why we're going to ask these questions. So the first thing you're going to ask yourself is, how did this week go for your training? So you'll go, how did this week go? You'll write down and you'll just brainstorm. So write it down, and then if you're using this in a journal and you're handwriting it, do that. Or if you're doing it in a Word document or Evernote or something else, and then you'll just go, okay, well, what did I do this week? I did, let's say you've been doing the 30-day challenge. We'll say, I did well with this and this, but I noticed that I wasn't doing that well with this and this and this. So you'll just go, how did this week go in general? Then we're going to go a little deeper. The next question you'll ask yourself is, what did not work well? What didn't work well? Then you'll go over, okay, well, this drill I didn't actually see much benefit from. This drill, I didn't see the point. When I did this, it didn't work out that well. Whatever, and list all the things that didn't really go that well, right? You didn't really see results from. Now, sometimes you do need to do things longer than a week to see results. So don't rule something out necessarily because you're not seeing the results yet. But if you're doing something and you're like, this is hurting me, or you're like, you know what? Let's say, for example, you're working out and you tried to bench too much and you went, well, you know what didn't work well? I tried to bench too much and I didn't actually work my way up to it. Or maybe you go, I tried to do drills for an hour, but I got too tired. I need to work up to that. Okay. So that would be something that didn't work well. Next question is obviously, what did work well? So you can go over, well, I actually did this drill every single day, and I can see that I'm building momentum. I did this drill every day, and I can see that it's improving my game. I should do more of that, right? So you see how we're figuring out what is benefiting you and what isn't? We're kind of categorizing everything as, this worked very well, I should continue to do this, and this didn't work well, maybe I should stop. Okay? So now another important one is, what did I say I would accomplish but I didn't? So let's say, for example, you said, let's say, for example, you're doing the dribbling challenge and you said at the beginning of the week, you know what, I'm going to make sure I do it every single day. And let's say you only did it 4 days out of the week. You need to own up to it. You need to say, you know what happened? I didn't do it every single day like I said I would. And you know what? That didn't work so well. I bet if I had done it every single day, I would have seen results and improvement, but I didn't. So what did I say I would accomplish? What did I say I would achieve? What did I say I would do, but I didn't? And be honest with yourself. Okay, and now here's the really important one that brings it pretty much all together. How can I do better next week? So the week that's coming up, how can I do better? So maybe for you, it's just like, okay, maybe I need to schedule my training so I stick to it. So for example, maybe you didn't do the training you were supposed to do on a certain day. You go, okay, let me schedule it now. Let me put it in a calendar, or let me write it down. I'm going to practice ball control, for example, and I'm going to do routine X at 5 o'clock on this day, or whatever it may be. And that's how I can start making the next week better. Then I'm going to do this. Maybe this week I'll eat better, and I'll eat this, this, and this. You see how we're doing here? We're identifying how the week went. Then we're identifying why the week went that way by going, what didn't work and what did work. And then we're saying, well, how can I do better next week? And that's the important one. It's always, how can I do better next week? Because there's always something you can do better. You could have almost a perfect week, but then you're going to ask yourself these questions and go, you know what, actually, I can improve this. You know what, actually, in my last game, I tried to do a step over and it wasn't fast enough. Maybe I should improve my step over. Or you go, in my last match, you know what, I lost the ball a lot. Maybe I need to work on ball retention and shielding the ball. That's another good thing to do, by the way, guys. Maybe pick a day, pick a day to do your reflection routine that's typically the day after you have a match. That I usually find works well, because if you have matches Saturday and you're doing this on Sunday, you can literally just reflect upon your match and go, what worked well, what didn't, what needs improving, how can I make sure I work on things this week that'll help me in my next game. That's a good thing to do as well. But the important thing is you're asking these questions, you're answering honestly Don't have this big-headed thing like, no, it went perfectly. You need to be answering as honestly as you possibly can. And it's going to reveal to you what you need to be doing in the upcoming week. So again, really quick, ask yourself, how did this week go? What didn't work well? What worked well? What did I say I would do but did not do? And how can I do better next week? And if you do this every single week, every single Sunday or the Saturday or Monday or whatever day you choose, you will see results. I mean, this is such an important thing to do. You will see results if you do this. And guys, you only need to do this once a week. Only once a week. You can do that. Every single person listening to this right now can commit to doing this once for 30 minutes every single week, okay? Now, as a bonus, as an additional thing you can do if you want to actually improve or accelerate your learning, do a daily journal. Now, this doesn't have to be 30 minutes. This can take 5 to 10 minutes, but I do this every night, and I mentioned this in other videos where every night you write down how the day went, and you just go, okay, I did this drill and this happened. You know, what can I do tomorrow to do better? And you ask yourself similar questions. You go, what did I do well today? And you quickly answer it. And you go, what can I get excited about tomorrow? Or what can I look forward to tomorrow? I'm going to do this drill. It's going to help me with this area. And again, you can do, what can I improve for tomorrow? Okay? So this has already gone on pretty long, so I'm going to stop. But this is essentially how you do it. And again, this is so important. And if I could recommend, you know I recommend a lot of things you guys do, like a one-page plan and all that, again, which is really important. But it's always important that you're giving yourself feedback and that you're analyzing what you're doing, because if you're not doing that, how are you going to know what you need to work on? All right, guys, so make sure you're doing this. It's really one of the most beneficial things you can do. All right, guys, so this is such an important idea if you actually want to guarantee that you make progress. I know this is such a simple idea, but again, just because an idea is simple doesn't mean it's effective. And in fact, usually the simple ideas are the ones that are going to propel you forward and move you higher and higher and higher. And this is one of them. This is one that so many high-level people have in their daily, or not daily routine, weekly routine. They reflect upon their week. They go over what went well, what didn't go well, what needs to be added. They brainstorm about what needs to be put in there, and then they adjust things. You can't expect to have the same routine for the rest of your life and expect results. If you want to guarantee that you are getting results and that you are always improving, you need to have that check-in period every single week. All right, guys, so I really hope that you add this to your weekly routine. If you want to become a better soccer player, you really should be doing it. Whenever I answer questions for players or work with someone one-on-one, I always make sure that they're doing this because it's really that important. So do not overlook this. Do not look at this and go, well, I'll be fine. I'll just remember what I need to do. You really need to start doing this. All right, guys, so thank you for watching. Make sure you like and share this video, and I'll put 2 videos on the screen that will also help you. And if you're new to Simply Soccer, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We release videos usually every single day. Come back tomorrow at 5 p.m. We will have a brand new video. We're back on track. And guys, make sure you get this reflection routine in. It's so important, and I'll see you on the next video.